Alright, well, got something a little bit different today. This is one of those DIY kits. You can see the hitch up there. Very long story on this one. This guitar, I just picked it up from someone who had it sitting in their garage. They didn't want it anymore. But I have a history with this particular one. I actually built this when I was in high school. Probably like 15 years ago. Yeah, about 15 years, maybe 16 years ago, I built this guitar. And it was a DIY kit that I just slapped together. I didn't finish it, I didn't paint it, I didn't cut any kind of thing into the headstock there. I just put it together and tried to play it. And, the long story comes because... What the hell in there? Anyway, I built this when I was in high school, and it's actually got a pretty good sound, but I built it for a girl, basically, and me and that girl ended up breaking up, and it came back to me, and I didn't want it anymore, so I gave it to another friend of mine, and they've had it ever since, except they gave it to somebody else as well, and things have gone south there too, so it's they didn't want it anymore, so there's a lot of like bad juju and bad vibes around it, and it made its way back to me. So I've got some plans for it. Nobody wants it the way it is, so I'm going to turn it into a different guitar. It's not going to be the same guitar anymore. It's going to be the same body, same neck, but everything else is changing. I'm going to cut a design into the headstock, and yeah. But you'll see what I'm doing as I do it. Real quick, I just want to go over the things that are wrong with it. The top volume pot is bad, needs to be replaced. It's just off and on, basically. It's a switch. The switch up here, this part's broken, need to replace that. There's all kinds of stuff, like if they put like a sticker or something on it here. There's holes that have been filled in. There's cracks in the finish. It's got a binding on it, but I'm going to cover the binding up. Yeah, it's missing the plate in the back, so I'm going to replace that. It's going to be a complete overhaul. It is not going to be the same guitar anymore, so stay tuned. humbucker. That's unusual. These should have multicolored wires, like 4 wires instead of just 2, but these only have 2 wires. So I'm thinking these are more like single coils disguised as humbuckers. I'm just marking off right here because it's going to require some very, very minor routing for the new pickups I've got, which is perfectly fine, especially right here because this one's got some damage on it, so it needs to be cleared out anyway. See here, I did some very minor routing to the cavity there so I could fit my pickups in there, because I got a different kind of humbucker pickups that are going in, and didn't have to do anything to this side, so just had to open up that side a little bit and they fit perfect. So now I'm going to get it lacquered up and start working on the paint job. There's a couple things about this guitar that I do like and a couple things I don't like. For one, that I do like, the holes and everything that's been routed is really easy to work with. The wires run through it easy. It's nice and big. There's a lot of room to work with it. It's a little beat up back over here. You can see they used some kind of filler in there. I don't know. Anyway, it needs to be shielded, which I can shield it. That's not a big deal. But the thing that I don't like about it is you can't really tell looking at it from the top. It looks like it's got this flame maple top on it, but if you look in the cavities, and can't really get a good angle there, that's just a really, really tiny thin veneer, and like it's like maybe a hair thick. It's super thin. It's probably not even real wood. And the top of the guitar, the whole arch top curved part, it probably wasn't actually carved. It looks like it's made out of particle board, press board. That's exactly what it is. It's particle board. So they probably had a mold of the top of an LP, and they pressed this particle board into it to give it that shape, and then they sealed the veneer on the top of it. So that's very, very low quality, but there's a couple good things about it. So it's still going to work out. actually came out pretty good, even though I had to freehand it there around some of the edges, because this was actually a straight line for some reason, so I freehanded that. And then this side was thicker than this side, so I evened it all out. It came out really nice, actually. Alright, so paint job is done. I had to paint it twice, actually, because I tried to clear coat it afterwards with lacquer. And I tested it out before. The lacquer went good on the silver and it went good on the black. But when I finished this with the lacquer, the parts where the black covers the silver didn't work so well. So it's got like this weird cracking pattern around it now. And I sanded off what I could, but it kind of adds to the burst right here, almost like a relic. But, so I kind of left that alone and just repainted it. It is incredibly hot. It is 95 degrees in my living room. So I'm trying not to sweat all over the guitar here. And that's with the AC and everything on. So, yeah. Anyway, here you go. It's actually a little dusty. I could have sworn I shot an outro on it already, but when I go to edit the video, there's no outro. So, reshooting it a couple of weeks later. It's a little dusty. Painted the headstock to match the body, silver and black, Spurs colors. Main thing I wanted to do too was to get away from a Gibson look. Gibson's been pissing off a lot of people lately, including me. So I took what was an imitation Gibson and turned it into an imitation Gretsch. Put authentic Gretsch pickups on it. I think the Gretsch that's modeled like this is the 5230T, and that's what I was going for with it. And well, here's the before and after sounds. So yeah, put a Bigsby on it. That yeah, it's not exactly right because it's not an arch top Bigsby. It's meant more for like a Telecaster style, but it works anyway. And yeah, I don't think Jacob's gonna want to do a video on this one, but I'll leave it up to him. If he does do one, look for one over on the left, or well, my left should be your right. If not, then check out the other videos. Thanks for watching.